All right, everybody, it is our 2026 Package B series. We're going to do it again just like we did last year, so you can reference last year's videos. But every year, weather's a little bit different. Things are timing-wise just a little different. So we're going to follow along so you can see how your Package Bs are progressing with the ones right here in the teaching apiary at the store. So this year, it's very cold today. It's about 48 degrees, and we're dropping temperature tonight. So I'm going to get these in a little bit quickly. And also, I'm changing the strategy this year because now I've got other hives in the apiary. I'm going to do internal feeding for their sugar syrup so that they can defend it and they don't have to fight with the entrance feeder. So I'm going to get my feeder loaded up here. This is 1-to-1 sugar syrup. Easy, quick and dirty way to do this is you pour 1 4-pound bag of sugar and hot water in a milk jug. That comes out pretty much right on track with the right mix ratio. And then I'm going to fill this up. This will hold just about a whole gallon. And I don't really want to spill any of this, so I am trying to be delicate and careful. They'll drink about a quart a day, so this will buy me about 4 days of time before we have to get in here, which is going to be just about perfect because we're going to start checking on, I'm going to check the queen here too. So, all right, that is full. Set this aside. You notice we're not using any smoke. We don't want to disturb the queen pheromone. These are new bees with a new queen. I've got my paper clip, which I have bent into this S shape so that it will hang over top of the frame so I can hang the queen cage. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So first of all, again, we're going to pry off this top wood cover to get access to the queen cage and the candy, the sugar syrup. All right, and so I've got some extra stragglers. We've been kind of collecting the extra bees on this package I was going to install. So I'm going to bang them here so you can see it, and also so that all these extra loose bees fall into the hive. Okay, pull the queen, cover that back up. All right, so come on in here and you can check out the queen. So we want to check the queen's health. You can see that she is young and vibrant. All the attendants are in there. They're all healthy. Everybody looks great. So we're good there. I've got a candy side of this queen cage, and then this metal tab is going to come off the end. And so sometimes there's a cork in that end where the candy is. It's already removed. So I'm just going to hang the queen very carefully. We're going to hang her in the middle here between frames 5 and 6. And it's a little bit chilly, so they're kind of running around here. So I want to put this hook in here very carefully. And then this is going to hang over top of this middle frame. These are plastic foundation that I have used the crayon wax method to add some extra fresh beeswax. Okay, we're going to push all these frames over so the queen is in the center. Oh, and let me leave some extra space here. Get ahead of myself. All right, so look at all these girls. I'm going to get the can out of the way now. Sometimes this is the most difficult piece, is trying to wrestle this can out. A really strong magnet works great. Okay, and here come the girls. So we're just going to pour this right over top of the queen so that they go right over top of her, cluster over, and stay warm. And I'm just shaking them in. You can see, look at an incredible amount of bees. So these are 3-pound packages the supplier that we get always makes sure that we get extra bees in here, and that we are the first stop on the truck. So these were literally made up yesterday afternoon. They drove them all night. We got them at 2:30 this morning, and now we're putting them straight into hives. So just dislodging all the loose bees that I can, because with this cool temperature, any bees that don't make it out of this box are going to be getting chilled pretty quickly. Just keep working them back and forth. Okay, gotten pretty much everybody out of there that I can, and I'm going to lay that there so that they'll climb up. And now we're going to work these girls over so that they'll go down into in between all the frames here. And again, we're doing this without smoke because we do not want to disturb the queen pheromone, and I don't want to set off alarm pheromone either. So I'm just going to put light pressure on the bees here so that they'll move out of the way of these frames. And then with this frame feeder, this last one is going to fit just barely snug in there. So I got one extra frame that we'll take, and we'll put that in later. Come on, girls. Okay, and then the sugar can here, the syrup can, I'll save that. I'll put that in my jug to refill next time. So we've got the queen in there, got the sugar syrup, and now I'm going to give them a 2-inch strip of pollen patty. So this is their protein source. So they need protein in order to make and feed the babies. So I just put that right at the back, right where the center of the hive, where the brood nest is going to be. And then we're going to try to get these girls off the lip here so I don't squish anybody. And you just real carefully put a little bit of pressure on them, and they will work their way down into the frames. Everybody's a little bit confused today because it's so cool. I'm just letting that sit on there. And I got some extra confused girls here on my pant leg. So, some stragglers. Okay. Yep. So just that little bit of pressure. It's kind of settled down there. Now I'm going to put outer cover in place, and then we definitely want to secure this with a strap. We have cold temperature and wind, so the last thing that we want is for something to come loose. So tie that all together, and then these girls are going to be left alone. We're going to come back and check them in 3 days because we want to make sure that the queen gets out of the cage on day 3. And if she's not out of the cage, then we will manually release her very carefully, making sure that the cage is pointed down when we open the cage to manually release her. But 95% of the time, they release her just fine with no concern. And we'll just double check that 3 days. And then after that, we're doing once a week inspections. And so each week, we're going to take out the old pollen patty they didn't eat. Hive beetles will have laid some eggs in there, so we get to kill hive beetles by pulling that out. We give them a new strip of pollen patty. And I'm going to fill up this feeder. We're going to feed them 1-to-1 sugar syrup on new hives that are not established. I feed first-year hives, I feed until I put a super on. They're drawing wax. I want them to draw wax. I want them to have plenty of nectar carbohydrates, the sugar syrup, and then also protein, the pollen patty substitute or natural pollen. We want them to have an abundance of food so that we can grow them really quickly and get them ready for wintertime. So these girls are all set up. Even though it's a little bit cool, they'll be perfectly fine tonight. I've got the entrance reduced down just to the smallest opening so that they can defend it. We also keep the queen pheromone in here. And aside from that, these girls are set and ready to kick off the season. Be blessed.